Hello, and a very warm welcome to This Woman's Work, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing women, the fantastic jobs they do, and the paths that have led them to where they are today. I'm here today with Vicky. Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
Could you tell the lovely listener what it is you do for a living?
So I am the VP of Marketing at Workday.
Okay, for everyone that doesn't know what Workday is.
So Workday is a software company that does human resources and finance in the cloud. So you can manage your people, and you can manage your finance. So a company's two critical assets, the most important assets, on this one platform. It's called Workday. It's a US company, and I lead the fabulous UK marketing team.
Wow. Okay. We've got to talk about that, but before we always track back.
Yes.
And we talk about little Vicky.
I haven't grown much, to be honest. I'm still little.
So little Vicky, what was she like? What was she into?
So I was quite shy as a child.
Were you?
I was shy. I was quiet. I was a good little girl.
Okay.
I'm one of four, so there was always lots of noise in the house. So I was actually just one that just helped my mum, and I just worked at school, and I was one of those good ones. But I grew up in the north and in this little village, and I was just out every single day with my friends, on my bike, on my roller boots, and just exploring.
Back in the day when
you could do that.
I know, that's what kids did.
Yeah.
Oh, good old days.
I know.
Okay, and at school, what were lessons and stuff? What did you like?
So I found school quite tricky.
Okay.
So I am slightly dyslexic, and so I struggled to just constantly do well. So I was the average kid in the average stream, and I just had to work hard, really, the subjects I liked were the ones that I actually weren't very good at, but I enjoyed doing, like practical. I'm more of a practical person, so the sciences I used to enjoy. You know, even though I didn't do very well in them, I enjoyed them because they were practical. So that lends to my strengths and learning style rather than maths, for instance. I used to love reading, things like that. So they're the subjects that I really enjoyed, and but I left school for GCSEs with all C's and some D's,
right.
which for me I was really proud of, to be honest, because. For me, I knew I had tried my hardest. I had revised, but I'm just not very good at regurgitating
tests.
In tests, I just can't do tests, and I used to feel so ill doing them. I used to be so stressed because because
it's basically about recall, isn't it?
It is about recall. It is, and that's
recall the thing. Memory, which isn't necessarily applied learning or applied knowledge, is it? It's just recall.
It's just recall, and it's just everybody learns differently. Everybody is different, and unfortunately, I know this education system has to go down a certain route, but you have to have that form of learning to be able to do well, I think. But due to me having such a terrible experience over GCSEs, I was stressed and I was sick, that I then did the BTEC route and not the A-level route.
Okay,
And I absolutely flourished in that kind of learning environment because...
Can you still do a BTEC?
I think,
What's it called? Something else
I don't know what it's called now, but there's definitely that vocational course you can do alongside an A-level.
Yeah.
And I'd really recommend anybody, and my eldest is showing signs of having slight dyslexia, and I'm slight dyslexic, by the way. I'm not like some people are quite severely dyslexic, but it still impacted me. And
well, it'll have done it, but it'll have impacted your confidence.
It's in my confidence
more than anything else when you were younger.
That's the thing, because
then you're in your own head about it, aren't you?
You're in your own head, and then you're in your own head, and it took me a long time in my career to get rid of that little lack of confidence. But I did the BTEC and I absolutely loved it because that's me. Put me into a practical situation or solving an issue or working with people to get something done. That's where I shined. And due to that, I then I went to university, but again, university was never on my radar. I went on to do a management course, a management degree, because I thought, well, that's what I enjoy doing. So I go on and do that. I did it at Lancaster. And then the first year was a mix of economics, accounting.
My gosh.
And then there was one subject, which was marketing.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, again, I'm working really hard here. And I need to do a subject that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'm going to switch to marketing.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about marketing then.
Yeah.
I just knew I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it was advertising and it was all like that. It was understanding. It was
creative.
And it was with connecting it with I did a minor in psychology. So it was connecting people and how people think, how people interact, how people buy, all of that with that marketing was just for me something that inspired me and I was really excited about it. So I did that, but I still had to go into that traditional education system. So I got firsts on my practical work.
Wow.
Because that's again how I we had to create we had to review how students communicate for Royal Mail. So they wanted to see is the written letter going down.
I bet the Royal Mail had done a bit of a backhand, do you know what I mean, to get a load of like free ideas.
Free ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we went to Liverpool, Manchester University. We researched people. We created an advertising campaign for them, and I got a first one, and all the other practical stuff, not just that one, came to the exam. Didn't do very well, so I brushed it off, and then I left, and and I had an amazing time, and then obviously you've got to face work, don't you? Really. So I followed my boyfriend was a year above me at university, so he'd already got off a job. And so I went to go and live with him, and I then just got a temp job, as you do, get a temp job.
And where was this?
This is at Solihull, up in the Midlands,
so
outside
you've gone,
of Birmingham.
Did you say Lancaster?
Lancaster, and then I moved to Solihull.
Wow.
He was working on a grad scheme. I must have written, 100 letters to grad schemes. I was never, due to my grades, I was never going to get that.
Yeah.
So, but this is where your choices and your steps in your working life actually is more important. Your skills is more important than really your education.
Yeah, yeah.
And it took me a long time to learn that. I got this temp job at this company called Lucas Verity, which made car parts. I don't think it exists anymore.
Oh, right.
And I was just doing data entry.
Yeah. Admin-y stuff.
Yeah, admin-y stuff, as you do. And I was given this project to do, quick turnaround. This manager said, oh, I'd love to get your opinion on this. So I did some work, worked quite late a few nights, and then delivered it. And then 2 days later, I was offered this, still as a temp, but just offered this new role to launch this sort of, it's called Break Check. It was basically, a bit like where you go, a whole brand around getting your brakes done. And I loved it.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And, still learning, but I got my teeth into it because I understood it.
Yeah.
And then my boyfriend then was transferred to a job in London, and I followed him.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought, London is exciting.
Very, very.
So I had to unfortunately leave that, but it wasn't a permanent role anyway. And then in London, I then got my first permanent role in marketing.
Okay.
For a very unusual company it was called Graysby Dynamics at the time, and now it's part of the Smiths Detection Group, part of this big Smiths brand.
Okay.
And I was marketing, and I was, 22-year-old here.
Yeah. Whippersnapper.
Whippersnapper. Nuclear and biological warfare detectors.
What? Wow.
I know.
You're like a weird little Tony Stark, aren't you?
Completely
Didn't
alien.
think that was going there.
Yeah,
Okay.
completely alien.
Yeah.
Very different way of selling this. Obviously, you sell to governments, you sell to military, And I was young. And
You're young. For people that don't know this, listen to this. Young, petite, beautiful little, you know what I mean, woman that's now you're trying to sell weapons. I mean, that's not, do you know what I mean? You would never in a million years package you up as a weapons
as a detection.
Yeah.
But and it was a very different world. Yes.
Yeah.
And I
it's a different world.
It is a very different world.
I have loads of questions about that.
Yeah. It you know, and I learned, and I didn't only do the marketing for this company, but I also was asked to do the marketing for the trade body, which was NBC UK, Nuclear Biological Chemical UK. So I set up all these different UK manufacturers. I would bring them together and we would go together to trade shows.
Wow.
So we'd go to NATO meetings and set up the UK bits of in the NATO, outside the NATO meetings. And so it's all really through these defence shows.
Yeah.
And it was really that more.
Did you have to sign your life away in NDAs?
Yes, I had to go through sign this. Is it this? I don't know, secret acts or something like that. Yes, I did, and I had to. So I went to NATO meetings. But it's what I learned though, and I think you take learnings from each thing. For that, I was in an extremely male-dominated environment with older men.
I was going to say
they're not young because they're all captains, all got 3 stars on the and they'd all be in a circle. Like we'd always have a reception, a UK reception after a show or something, and very senior, important people. Normally at the ambassador's residence. And all these people would all be in circles talking about the latest Challenger tank or something. Gosh. And my head of the head of sales would just glare at me across the room to sort of network, and I had no base to network from.
Was your head of sales a man?
He was a man.
Yeah.
He'd come out of the army, and they're all ex-army normally who work in these defence manufacturers, because it's all based on people and networking. Yeah. So I'd have to just muscle my way in. So I was living in London and driving out to this job, which is actually not far from where I live now, so it's in the Hertfordshire. And I thought, what am I doing? I'm now, 25.
Yeah.
24, 25, and I want to work in London, I want to meet people, have that life. I want to go out after work. So I left, and I didn't really think about what kind of company I wanted to work for.
Okay.
I just thought I want to work in the city, because I thought that's really where all the fun was being had and you would earn a bit of money there.
Yeah.
So and this is one of the big learnings in life, so I took a job as a marketing executive, I think, for a law firm.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't really done my research about law, what kind of job I wanted at all. So I got this job.
Oh, you still got it though.
I got it.
Look at you. Yeah, I got the job.
I got the job. But it was very different to what I'd used to. So anyone that's worked in the law firm, it's a partnership business model. So marketing wasn't really seen as an important asset at the time.
You the fluffy thing in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, and even to the point where I had to take notes in meetings, in partner meetings.
Yeah, you'd get dragged into other stuff.
I'd get dragged in. And a lot of the marketing was written copy, would create newsletters and would create about the new deals as well. And this is where, with my slight dyslexia, was the worst thing for me, because I would have to write up these notes from these partner meetings and have to send them out, and I got names wrong, and I would my grammar, and it was just it wasn't the right. And I was working, I don't know, 12-hour days,
trying to keep up,
and I think my mentality, which I think a lot of young people fall into, is I will just work harder. I will just lean in more, rather than actually pausing and thinking, no, This isn't working. This is the wrong environment. I can't thrive in this. I'm not thriving. I wasn't thriving.
No.
My hair was greasy. I was snappy with my friends.
Well, it was taking your confidence back, probably to where it was. Yeah.
It was just the wrong place for me. And somebody else would thrive in that, but not me. And but I was just kept on leaning in harder, and then other things started going on in my life. Somebody I liked, it didn't work out. My car was broken into. I had just moved into a flat, which I loved. And, you know, when you're some people who have moved to London and you're just moving as into a shared house, you don't know anyone, and you're single, it's scary.
It
takes effort. You've got to then make friends with your new housemates.
Yeah.
So I'd done all that, and then
it's
suddenly,
like uni, but without the fun part.
But you're doing it over and over again. And so I'd found this lovely house, lovely roommates, and then the landlord decided to sell 3 months in. So I'm like, right, so I've only been here 3 months. The job wasn't working out. And I remember, I think when my car was broken into, I rang my mum in tears. And I was like, Mum, everything now. And I think when everything in your life starts going wrong, you haven't got anything to hold on to. And I rang my mum. And my mum was a very wise woman. I lost her last year, so I'm going to try not to cry. But she was my champion, and so I'm going to stop crying now.
Because I'm going to cry as well, so it's fine.
But she said to me, Vicky, you're not listening. I go, what do you mean? I am listening to you. She goes, no, you're not thinking about what is happening in your life. She goes, how many more things have to go wrong until you stop and pause? So she said, you're not hearing, you're on the wrong road, Vicky. You're on the wrong road, and things are going to keep on getting louder and harder until you stop and you change path. So she gave me the confidence, and I am lucky. I had a loving family who had a spare room still.
Yeah.
So the next day I quit.
Well done.
I just quit. I went in, quit. And I moved back home a week later, packed up my stuff and went back home. And at the time, with that, my mum behind me, and it could have been anybody, people have different champions. It gave me the confidence to just change. And I think that's important because, like I said, the natural thing is sometimes just to lean in harder.
And keep going.
And just keep going.
Yeah.
I can just keep going.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't. And things will just keep on getting louder and louder.
I know you have a little life in you yet. I know you have a lot of strength left. I know you have a little life.
And your mental health will be impacted. And your health will then be impacted. So I went home and I went to get some money together. So I went to go and work in a cattle market.
Great.
And which I loved.
Yeah.
And then I saved up enough money and I went to South America for 6 months and had an amazing time. And I came back, went back to moving with my parents in the West Country. Then I got a temp job at IBM.
Oh, wow.
And because they had consultancy and they were doing some work for the MOD on one of their sites in Bath. And I got a temp job there. And again, proved that I could work and I was doing these great things. I could deliver. And I got offered this role in London, in the main IBM, in analyst relations, working with the team there.
Okay.
Because they did a lot of events, so I started off doing that. So then I got myself back into London. That's when my journey in technology started.
Were you looking to go back into London at this point? It really just almost happened upon you?
This happened upon me. A door opened.
Yeah.
I was wanting to stay in the West Country, but this opportunity came, and I thought, I'll go back. I'll go back to London, and that's when my career in technology started from there. So I wasn't doing the marketing that I was used to. I was doing analyst relations, running events and things. But I thought, no, I want to.
That's quite practical though, and it's very obviously you're employing all the people skills that you've acquired.
All the people skills, and So then I moved to a company called Atos, which is a French company, huge French company, IT services company, and I joined there. And then I basically just went through lots of different roles there. Again, not as a plan as such, no purpose as such, but
Okay.
again, I think if you pick opportunities and you show up and you prove yourself doing
work
perfect
hard.
projects,
Yep.
people then notice you. So when there is a role, you get think, oh, what about Vicky? You know, I've seen her, worked with her, she'll be great in that role.
Yeah.
And that's how it came to be.
And you're obviously very good at like internal relations as well.
That's
like,
a big key part.
You're
of
liked, people think you're good at your job, you work hard, and you get on with people.
You get on with people.
Yeah.
And that's really how, when it came to, they were creating a global function in marketing, and I was asked to head up financial services globally in marketing. Digital marketing was quite new then, but I was starting to really use digital marketing more as part of my overall marketing campaigns and not as a standalone.
Yeah.
And again, I tried something new, a bit of innovation, and then it came to a point when they were wanting to create a global digital marketing team.
Okay.
And then the CMO rang me up and said, I want this function to be created. Would you build the team and lead it? And I said, well, two things. Firstly, I'm not a digital marketeer. I don't know how to run the technology. And secondly, I'm 4.5 months pregnant, as you know, so I'll be leaving in 5 months' time.
Yes.
And this was to become global head of digital marketing. And the CMO, a man at the time, said, well, Vicky, firstly, I have lots of people that know the technology of digital marketing all around the world, but I need you because to build the team.
Yeah.
And secondly, for the strategy, you know how to bring it into a wider marketing campaign.
Yeah, and collect it all.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And I know that he goes, it doesn't bother me that you're going on maternity leave soon. So I said, okay, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And I, had to pull people together. And I was very honest with the team, because the team were the ones who actually knew how to build digital programs in the technology. And I said, I want to be really clear. That's your strength.
Yeah.
That's your skill set.
That's what you're bringing. Yeah.
That's what you bring. Honestly, openly, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So, but what I do know is this.
Yeah.
So I was very
open and honest. How to make it all
honest.
Successful. You're there to make it successful, really, aren't you?
So make us successful, to give us a vision, and to integrate us into the wider marketing function as well. Because we had to upskill a lot of the other marketeers, but it was quite new then. So I did that, and then I left and had my baby, and my second baby, I think. Is it my second baby? I think it was my second baby. I think it was Florence. And came back, and...
how long did you have off?
So I had with Florence 10 months.
I was going to say.
Yeah, and I did feel, should I go back quicker? But I thought, no, actually. And then my CMO went to Salesforce, and then he contacted me after about 4 months and said, there's a role that you should go for. I would love to refer you. Okay. And I wasn't even thinking.
So you'd not long been back.
I hadn't been long back. I think I'd only been back 6 months.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'd been at that company Atos then for 9 years.
Okay.
And I thought, actually, maybe it is time, actually.
Yeah.
And I loved digital marketing, but I wanted to get back to working with sales and working in the full breadth of marketing.
Yeah.
Not just I wanted to get back to the coalface, really.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought, so I then left and went to Salesforce. At that point, when I became a leader, that was the first time. I was a manager, I would say, at Atos. I managed people.
Yeah.
At Salesforce, I became a leader.
Okay, interesting.
And that's when I started to reflect more on myself and what kind of leader do I want to be.
And that was very much of the culture as well.
There's the culture.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's it as well.
So they encouraged it.
They encouraged it. They put you on the right training. They put you on training that makes you step back and reflect a bit more. There's lots of things that I learned, but the biggest thing that's changed me as a person was being transparent about my dyslexia.
Okay.
So I had hidden it.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I had hidden it. It was like this huge...
Well, you'd almost have made a joke about spelling or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just...
You'd learned probably little things that you could say or do.
I'd pore over my emails at times, reading and oh, is it right? Is it spelt right? Is it...
Yeah.
Because I always thought because in my mind, I thought if they could see that I don't know anything, I can't, because I don't have any short-term memory. I can't remember facts. Don't ask her. Honestly, I go to the pub quizzes with my husband only to give him support, basically, because I can't answer a single question. Because I don't remember detail.
Yeah.
I remember faces and a visual.
Surely you're good at the picture round.
The picture round, but then I can't grab the name of the person out my brain.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So I can just go and I go to, oh, do you know, dark hair,
that it was
still starred
in
in
this. Yeah.
But I can't call out names, the details. So I just used to hide it because I thought people are going to think I'm not very bright.
We've got really good at hiding it.
I got really good at hiding it, and it became quite a thing that I got, and so because I thought people won't think I'm bright.
Yeah.
They won't think I'm good enough to be a manager if they don't think I'm very intelligent.
If you have a label suddenly.
If I have a label.
Well.
And I thought, because I was attaching intelligence with academic ability and knowledge. And that is so wrong.
Yeah.
And that's where I've changed.
But it's of our time, though,
It's of our time. And so when I was at Salesforce, I was given the confidence at Salesforce, and this is the amazing thing about that company, to be myself, to be my authentic self, and to share my vulnerability.
Yeah.
So I started sharing it. And I have to say, the first time, my voice was shaking because I'd built this wall around this that I felt like I had to hide.
Yeah.
I had to conform, and I hid my weaknesses. And I thought they were weaknesses. But now I know they're not a weakness, because due to this, I'm actually very good over here.
You're amplified here, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm good at connecting dots. I'm good at strategy.
Yeah.
I'm good at people.
Yeah.
That's my power. That's my superpower. So then I became that leader at Salesforce. Left, had Maisie.
Yeah.
Came back. And then I was asked to lead the whole of the industry team. And then from then on, I just grew more and more. So then I took on the cloud team, and in the end I was managing the whole of the demand generation team, basically. So then I flourished at Salesforce. I absolutely loved it. I really did. It's a fantastic company, and I said, and I learned a lot as a leader. And then
I was going to say, so how did you? When did the change come out? It's so recent.
I know, it is quite recent. It's been a month now at Workday. So, and then Workday came knocking again. It's people again. People networking's really important.
Yeah.
And some of the leaders I knew for Salesforce had gone to Workday, so I respected the leadership. I knew the culture was very similar to the culture I was flourishing in. It was similar. So I made the decision on people, on culture, and going back to what inspires me and I get my power from is building.
So that's all of that together is being really true to you.
Yes.
What you'd said earlier.
It is.
Yeah.
That purposeful, conscious decisions on what will be good for me as a person.
Without wanting to make you cry again then, so obviously what we've talked about is, I'm literally your mum's second biggest fan right now. Amazing woman, clearly. Obviously channeling your mum for all these years, at what point did that then, because you are channeling you now. Do you know what I mean? You are channeling what you know about you are channeling you. When did you think that shift really started to happen? Not to say obviously your mum is still obviously can always be quite a pinnacle part of you, but
I think it's when, so my mum had dementia, so even though she only died last July, I had lost that amazing woman 4 years before, so she couldn't talk, so I was no longer able to talk to her. She was no longer able to give me advice and guide me. I was a mum myself of, three young girls, and then I think then it was like, and then that whole time of becoming a leader as well, and if that's, I think that all those things come in, like, I now need to be that person. So I started mentoring. I started really being true to myself and sharing who I am with people, and what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. I said, don't come to me to write anything. And that's that moment. I think that time when my mum was no longer. Did it take
the buffer away a bit then, do you think? And because suddenly you had to do that on your own.
Yes.
Really do it on your own, rather than just sort of either get that advice or channel it, whatever it is. You are now making these decisions very much on your own.
On my own.
And putting yourself out there more.
Yeah.
And it's worked.
And it's worked. So yes.
So what's next then? So obviously you're a month in.
A month in, I got an amazing team, but a smaller team.
Yeah.
Which is, I can get to build and develop them, get to know them, and really I'm at the stage of just looking at the whole of the UK business. There's some amazing things going on. There's some things that I can bring from experience to make things better.
Yeah.
Bring all of the global team together to help the UK be successful. So integrate everyone together. So there's so much opportunity.
Yeah.
But I've definitely made the right decision, because I feel like I'm part of a family already.
Aww.
And I feel that I can just already be my authentic self. A few years ago, I had to sort of think about my development, and the things I said was that I think I've got this great foundation.
Yeah.
I've done so many things through marketing, achieved a lot. But my voice is a thing in my sharing my voice, believing in my voice.
Yeah.
And that's the next thing for me.
Right, I'm going to ask you my 2 final questions so that you can then get back to your life. So, 2 final questions. 1, what advice would you give to your younger self? That little Vicky then, that shy, quiet Vicky, what advice would you give her as you now?
The advice I would say is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and understand who you are and lead with that. Be that person. Because I hid a lot of things. I try to conform to what I thought. You go to school, you go to university, you get a job, you work. That's, so like squiggly life.
Yeah.
So I would say believe in yourself and know yourself, so you can make those right decisions for you, your life.
Yeah.
And not what you feel life should be.
Yeah. Or the expectations. That put on you.
Yeah.
Then the final question is which I feel like you're going to have an amazing one at now. And you said one earlier, and I remember thinking I need to log that for later. Hopefully you'll say it again. I can't remember what it was.
Probably won't.
So this is now like a life advice to throw out and thought, and it's often a mantra that women live by or they believe in. To throw out for anyone.
For anyone.
Yeah.
I think be brave.
Yeah.
I think be brave. Be authentic. Be yourself. But be brave to take those risks at times. You will kill it. You're all capable. But be brave and to put yourself out there and try it, because that's,
which comes back to believing yourself.
Believe in yourself,
because that bravery will come from self-belief, won't it?
So. It's true. And the other advice is be purposeful in the decisions you make. Make the right decisions based not just on a title of a job, but will you thrive in that environment? Is that the right environment for you to thrive? Is your personal life as a person?
Yeah.
Because your work will become latter. That will follow. If you're happy and you are achieving and you're leading on your strengths,
like I said, you're going to boss it.
You'll boss it.
Yeah.
Because you're leading with your strengths and your the work will just come.
Yeah, the doors
success,
will open. That was it. We were talking about paths and stuff.
Yeah. So think of yourself and be purposeful with where you will thrive and your strengths. Know yourself, know your strengths and lead with that. And don't focus on maybe what you're not very good at.
Yeah. Which is women, we're terrible
Which
for
is
doing.
terrible. We focus on the wrong things.
Yeah. On that note, I'm going to say thank you very much, Vicky. It's been brilliant. I'm going to really struggle to edit this down, so thank you. If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go to our website www.thiswomanswork.org. The link is on this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.